science? Oh no, these flat earthers. Oh, sorry, these flat earthers are stupid. They're morons.
Into any value of it though.
It's for yourself to figure out, man. Yeah. If you're going to be staunch in believing that they could never lie to you, then that's your belief.
No one believes that we're not being lied to.
Okay, great.
See, so you use a straw man argument. Here's what you do.
Here's the spec.
Hold on. You use a straw man argument between the earth being flat and the earth being round. That's a real discussion.
Yes.
When you bring the straw man into it, says, well, if you just want to think you've been lied to, if you don't care that you've been lied, that's not even what we're talking about. We're not talking about the lie.
What was the first question you asked me? You said, why would they lie? Right?
I never asked why would they lie. I said,
did anybody hear that?
She did.
Okay.
You never heard it from me.
Okay.
See, hold on. So you just made.
I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I made a mistake.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I heard.
I never said
why would
that.
they lie? Okay. I'm sorry.
Somebody that said that to you in the last 300 years. That you've been out here trying to, you know.
My assumption. I'm sorry. I apologize. Problem. Sir, I mean.
The question is.
Yeah.
What difference?
Oh, that's it.
Does it make?
What difference does
your
it make?
hat is your hat on a flat plate or a spinning testicle.
Okay, so
your IQ is your IQ on a flat plate or a spinning testicle.
Okay, so you're not going to let me answer?
I am.
Okay, so what difference does it make, okay, if it's a sphere or if it's flat, right? So don't look at the information, don't try to prove the ball, just wonder whether or not if it's important, right? Shouldn't it be an observable proof that we have curvature and motion?
Why? Who cares?
Well, if you don't care, then you shouldn't even have this conversation with me.
Why do you care?
We don't like being lied to.
You're lied to by everyone all the time.
Yes, and I try to expose them all the time.
Your mother lied to you.
Absolutely.
When she told you you were the most important person in the world.
Right.
Your mother lied to you when she told you you were the most beautiful child on the planet.
Because none of us are important. We're a speck of dust in a giant vacuum universe, right?
I don't believe that at all.
Okay, what do you believe?
Once again, you're introducing something that's not part of the argument, and
so
that makes everything
you're
saying
something
void.
different than science.
When you bring in something that's not part of the argument, you destroy your
credibility. Do you believe anything besides science?
Yes.
Okay, explain
but I don't
to me.
believe in all of it.
Explain it to me.
Do I explain
your theory of where you live.
I don't have a theory of where I live. You asked if I believe in science. I didn't say I had a theory of where I live. Explain to me your theory of why that hat matches your clothing.
I want to know, you saying, why does it matter, right? So you have an opinion of what the Earth is, correct?
I don't.
I
don't care.
Well, then we don't have to have
this
this conversation.
And it makes no difference to you either.
Okay, if you say so.
But what you choose to do what you choose to do is to try to force your ideology on other people.
Question all this, don't believe me at all.
When you walk around a park and you magnify your voice so that people can hear you, you're forcing your way into them. No different than if I stand here and tell you all these guys over here are whacked and crazy. I'm in your space now.
You're a sad man.
I'm in your space.
You are a sad man.
Hey,
I'm not the one walking around getting in people's space.
I wish we could. I wish we could.
Well, you're the one going personally.
We're not asking. I want you to ask me questions about the science. The mathematical formula,
what you
the
want
measurements.
And what I want are two different things.
Okay, well then carry on.
But I'm not attacking your manhood.
You're attacking me by coming over here and you're trying to pick a fight with me.
No, I'm not trying. If I was trying to pick a fight with you, you would already know it.
Okay.
Because we'd be fighting.
Okay.
It's not hard to pick a fight.
Okay.
I mean, if I hit you, we'd be fighting.
Okay.
I'm not trying to pick a fight with you. I'm well versed in picking a fight. They know this. That's why they're standing close in case it happens.
Okay.
I'm not trying to pick a fight with you. I'm having a conversation with you.
You're not.
You, on the other hand.
It's one-sided. It's not a conversation.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, hey, can I say something real quick? All right, I just want to say this real quick. All right. If he believes what he believes, that's cool, right?
That is very cool.
Okay.
I give him 100% to do that.
No, real shit, okay? And if you believe what you believe, that's cool, right? Okay. So I believe what I believe. He believes what he believes. Him, him, her, and everybody out here, right?
Only one person walking around with a microphone telling everybody they're wrong.
I didn't say it. I said don't look into curvature, don't look into spin.
You've been lied to.
I haven't said that. When did I ever say that?
Walking up those stairs was exactly what you said.
I didn't say you've been lied to.
Okay.
I said trust your government. They would never lie to you. That's what I said.
We've known that you don't really know what you said.
Your premise is on point.
I got it on camera. Would you like to see it back?
Your premise is
because it says don't.
But he's not living your premise.
Listen to government. They would never lie to you because they love you. That's what I've been saying. Because it's in mockery.
I wouldn't be with that either.
It's in mockery. So government.
And you wouldn't be with that either.
I'm sure they.
I'm just saying.
If somebody up there preaching that Satan is real and your Jesus is a lie.
Okay, that's my point. So if you don't want to have a discussion, it's just an argument. I'm not here to argue. I'm trying to share. I'm just trying to share information. If they don't want to hear it, they don't have to hear it. But it's becoming an argument over what? Over what does it matter? It matters because we don't want to be lied to. If you're okay with being lied to, go on.
Besides this, what do you think they're lying to about?
Oh, everything.
Everything? Do you believe in aliens?
No.
You don't?
No.
Really? Why not?
Okay, so let me explain to you my belief. Okay, now this is not a knowing, this is a belief, okay? My belief is that there's an older culture than us, and they live on the exterior parts of the earth.
Yeah.
And they're higher technology. They have, if you want to call it zero gravity machines, you know, discs that can fly. I believe all that. I don't believe they're from outer space, from a different planet or anything else like this. I believe they're on the part of the earth that we're not allowed to go to because of the what's called the Antarctic Treaty. We're not allowed to go below the 60th parallel south. And that's a lot of, that's a huge amount of land that we're not allowed to look at. You understand? Yeah. And even people who are like skeptical scientists say there's something really weird going on with Antarctica, and nobody wants to look.
How come?
Because it's called the Antarctic Treaty. It says that 85 countries signed this Antarctic Treaty that no country could ever go there to own land, to collect resources, to do exploration. No one's allowed to do it.
Do you think that they want to just like same thing with Alaska, they kind of want to leave a part of Earth untouched?
Yeah, that's
same with this. No, you don't want to build a building right on the water.
Yeah, I get that. But if you know, like, in 1958, there was no such thing as like environmentalism.
What's that?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got information for you.
That wasn't even a thing. So
I got a quick question. I'm trying not to be offensive at all. I'm just curious.
Shoot.
Right?
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter?
What difference does it make in our day-to-day lives?
Well, it's about being lied to by people in power who are sitting above us. And, you know, you have to wonder, like, I'm not the one lying, so I'm sure you're wondering why they would lie. We have ideas about that, but we don't know for sure. No one's been taken to court or anything. You know, they're just doing this, and they're putting a lot of time and effort and money into this globe idea, and pushing it on us.
You guys think they're like hiding something, essentially?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's something that you'd have to investigate for yourself to really get a better understanding for it. I can't just give you all the answers, but we're here just to, you know, plant a seed, and whoever's interested, they can, you know, investigate further. And we have some like ideas of like good information you can go check out, and of course be skeptical about even us, about like what we're giving you here. Just analyze it. You know, it's something to think about, it's food for thought. But it's not really about the shape of the earth, it's just a matter of that they've lied to us on such a massive scale. That NASA is just propaganda. If you analyze their videos and everything, like there's bubbles in space on the spacewalks outside the ISS, you can see bubbles going up. And it's like they tell us that they train in an underwater pool to be in the vacuum of space. So that two completely different environments, different pressure systems, and they're testing the same space suit. So, you know, there's some discrepancies between what they're telling us and then what they're doing and showing us on video. They do that because, like, underwater, it looks like, you know, zero G. It looks cool. It's like, you know, it's just Hollywood techniques, basically. And then inside the ISS, you can see that they're getting stuck on wires, that they're supposed to be floating, but they got a belt and they got wires coming out. They just use a green screen to mask out the wires. But there's some glitches where you can actually see where the wires are. And there's even one pretty damning video that you can see a guy doing a flip, and his buddy next to him is like helping him out, and he pulls on the wire, he tugs on the wire, and they both get jerked around. So I'm just saying there's a lot of evidence for it, and
I was just curious whether like there was like some scientific thing like that we could do differently if the Earth was flat, like if it mattered that way, if it was just about being lied to.
Well, we could start by, you know, working together, everyone, and telling the truth, and not hiding things, because that kind of like the science and academia kind of has like this community of people who, you know, the general idea is like, yeah, we want to like push forward for the human race and make advancements, but at the same time there's money behind it, so you have that kind of holding you down, where you know, someone is paying you to do something, they want results that they want to see, and if you're just looking for the truth, not everyone wants to hear the truth. You know what I mean? Like, The truth isn't popular.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I'm a Christian, and I know that for a fact. Like, if I think that's the truth,
Amen.
and someone comes up and they're like, "Ah, no, that's not the truth." Like,
hey, look in the Bible. It does mention that the earth is immovable and stationary and set on foundations with a firmament.
Do you have the verses for that?
Sorry?
Do you have the verses for that?
Oh, I got it right here. Hang on.
The star's right here.
Excuse me.
And you're spinning.
No. Start with the sun.
Start with the sun.
Yeah. So
anything,
you're the earth.
Anything in space, not
No, if you're the sun, you're the sun.
Oh, right here, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool, I love to see
check it
that
out.
because I heard someone say something about that. How the Bible like, teaches about it. And I was like, oh, I'm curious because
Oh yeah, definitely.
my first thought when I heard that was, well, back then, people didn't think that the Earth was spherical, like it was taught in schools and stuff. That,
Yeah,
so
this isn't a new idea.
Yeah.
It's just been suppressed over the years, and now with the internet and everything, we can network and communicate a lot faster.
Yeah.
And we can just get together like what we're doing here. It's all like from the internet. We connected and called each other. And we had a conference yesterday. Actually, there was about 200 people show up in Greenville at a place called a Firmament. The owner of the venue is a flat earther.
Okay.
And it's like a conference. Speakers up on the stage sharing information, and it's like a mixer, just people networking and hanging out, making new friends. And it's been awesome.
That's so awesome.
I drove from Northern Virginia to get here, so
Cool.
I'm really glad I did.
That's awesome. All right,
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna look this up more. Thank you. Appreciate it.
God bless you.
You too.
All right. So if you watch the animated picture,
Are you fully converted?
No, I don't want you to be converted. Just ask questions.
By the dude that called you
Just
dad,
ask
a really
questions.
sad man, and didn't get knocked spot out right here on the concrete.
Not gonna happen in a day.
I believe in the round earth. I
No?
believe around
Nah.
earth.
See, that's why I carry a gun for people like you that doubt.
What, you think we're gonna convince you of flat Earth in a day?
Oh no, I thought you was gonna convince me that I wouldn't knock you spot out on this.
Oh
on this
no,
stone.
no. I just heard
No,
you
he
guys
said
talking
you weren't
about
gonna be
being
convinced in a
convinced.
day.
Oh, I thought you didn't think you would drop like
Nah.
somebody just got knocked spot
Come
out.
on, man. I'm not like that.
Whether it's flat or round, let's eat ice cream. You ready?
Wow.
don't question curvature. Don't question movement. Don't question a vacuum next to air pressure without a barrier. Believe your scientists. Believe your government. The government.
Why do I feel like I'm in Back to the Future movie? Hey, why do I feel like I'm back in one of those movies, like Back to the Future type thing?
Right? In the 1950s, right?
Oh.
Vote for Tommy J. He is best for this town. Don't question curvature. Don't question movement. Don't question a vacuum next to air pressure without a barrier. Of course, we live on a space ball. Why would you ever question it? Scientists figured it out 4,500 years ago. Don't look at the science.
I had a
Look at
dream about
scientists.
this, bro. This shit is real, bro. I'm sorry.
No, trust your government. They would never lie to you.
The world is
Obey.
corrupt. What do you expect?
Obey. Pay your taxes.
How about-
They're great. That's why they keep raising them.
How about you come and have this discussion with me off camera?
No.
That's a dislike on this YouTube channel.
Don't look for curvature. Don't look for movement. Don't look for a vacuum next to air pressure without a barrier. Of course, you're living on a spinning ball in outer space. Your government would never lie to you. They wouldn't lie. Scientists wouldn't lie either. They wouldn't tell you that cigarettes are good for you and asbestos is a good insulator.
That this man is telling you to.
No, do not believe that. Believe your government. They love you. They would never lie to you.
Send people to
Hey, I got some information
Don't
for
look at
you.
this information.
Oh, I already
Don't
have
look.
one.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool.
The guys up there.
Awesome.
Men and women to a country that doesn't need nobody.
We don't
Any
send
questions?
anybody. They choose
I just
to
wanted to
go.
look at this banner you guys.
Because
All right, yeah, check it out.
Because our government loves them.
What?
Pay your taxes. They are good. That's why they keep raising them.
And it goes to stupid stuff. To more buildings.
Your government would never lie. Trust your government. Don't
Thing they
ask
got
questions.
here.
We gave
Why
Carolina
would they
an
lie?
ass
Why
whooping.
would they tell the truth?
That's not her jacket.
Don't ask why they would lie. Ask why they would tell the truth. Why would they tell you where you live? They can't control you like that.
Once you come
Pray God. Pray God. Live long and prosper.
Taking off, brother.
Question everything. Question everything. Stay true, man. Stay true. Know your truth.
Sir?
Watching everything.
Sir.
Good meeting you, man.
Hey, like and subscribe to this man's right here.
Yep.
Like and subscribe. Always.
What's good, Danny?
You are a
Like
speck
and
of dust in a giant vacuum of space. Don't trust your government. I mean, sorry. No, trust your government. Trust them.
He just showed up.
I'm in Flatland.
Did you guys get here?
There's a conference yesterday. Yeah. We had about 200 people yesterday come to the Firmament. It's a venue in Greenville for the conference, and you know, we're just networking, hanging out, making new friends.
Don't look for curvature. Don't look for movement. Don't look for
Wait, I'm asking you questions.
air pressure without a barrier. Of course, we live on a spinning space
Wait,
ball.
your mom is here? No.
We landed on the moon. Even though we can't go back.
I've heard people say
We've seen the curvature from an airplane, right?
Yeah, I've been in an airplane. I've seen some curvature before.
this is from 128,000 feet, 4 times higher than your plane was flying.
Don't
Right here.
question your government. They love you. They would never lie.
Yeah, it's very slight.
Don't look for curvature. Don't look for movement. Of course, you live on a spinning space ball.
There's atmosphere and things like that, but I mean, look at all of it. 128,000 feet. And then we come down to sea level.
Of course,
It never changes. It stays nice and flat.
That looks like a panorama, though, and of course the panorama is.
Well, these are rectilinear lenses. These aren't your GoPro lens. Like he has here, on a GoPro lens, where's it at?
Don't let them
Right here. See this right here? That's your fisheye GoPro lens. When he looks out right here, you see the curve of the earth, right? Well, that is the state of New Mexico.
Really interesting.
So yeah, how does that match
New
up?
Mexico, yeah.
How does that match up with that
New
curve?
Mexico is about this tiny. You wouldn't see, even, here's what it looks like from inside the capsule. But when you go to the GoPro lens out here, I mean, this should all be water on there. The United States should be about this big in total.
The United States is like, it's real big.
That's the United States on the ball. That's how big it is.
Yeah, it's like bigger than all these countries.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but what I'm saying is, if you see this curve here,
That's way too much curve.
Trust your government. Love your government. They love you.
this should only be, the whole United States should only be about that big on that ball. But this is all New Mexico.
Go watch that video with the idea of looking at the horizon, and you will see it change form based on the angle that the GoPro is looking at it.
Yeah, if the GoPro points up,
then it'll be concave. This is gonna be like the curvature upwards. And even when he's like 10 feet off the ground, you can still see that kind of curve.
Here's how a plane from Sydney to Chile, they come all the way up here to the United States, and then they come all the way back down, instead of flying like this. But on a flat Earth map, it's just a straight line.
Like the evidence
out there.
That's what
At the same time, obviously, with Photoshop and
No.
everything.
Yeah, that could be.
I mean, they could go like this.
No, look.
See, look. Yeah.
You don't believe that was flat?
There's Australia, and here's Chile.
I'll tell you what.
They should just go like this, right? That'd be the quickest.
They're not allowed to get that close to Antarctica.
Well, they can fly up to 60 degrees south. So you have 80, 70, 60. Oh yeah, they're only at like 50 right there. So they could fly all the way straight across 50 degrees and just go right there. Instead, they fly all the way up here and then come all the way back down.
Well, maybe they just need to refuel.
I mean, but this is shorter than this. You know? It just doesn't make sense.
Earth is all. That's not very fuel efficient.
Chicago's horizon, and they say, oh, the bottoms are missing, but that's not the point.
Yeah, it just
they
doesn't
said
make
that
sense.
The horizon should be
This
up
is basically what I was trying to explain. We as humans think that the world is just something like that.
Next time you see like a model globe, like a large one, go look underneath. It says it's not for educational purposes, for decoration
Go to
only.
Walmart. Next time you're in Walmart, go to their little globe and look on the bottom. It'll have a sticker, not for educational purposes.
Really?
It's supposed to be
So
where we live,
school's
right?
been telling me a lot.
It's supposed to be accurate.
See, I live right here.
But they established the Instructor Treaty where 50 countries signed it, and they said it's not even questionable until 2040. And what it says is that no government, no commercial entity can ever collect resources or explore or anything out there.
So you said if you tried to go in the ocean and sell
take care.
someone would stop you out there and turn you around. So at least you know you go out there and you can turn around. Why is that preventing you from
Take it easy.
Oh, if I had the funds, I would try. Yeah, absolutely. Dude, if I had a speedboat that I think that I could outrun any government entity, I'd take it. I'd take a shot. You know, because they say at certain times in the summertime, there's old stories like back in the 20s where they said that
I go on flights a lot, you know.
and you can pass through it, and there's other continents out there. Like beyond. Check it out, though. Check out the Antarctic Treaty, man. That's a doozy.
Different places for tournaments and stuff. So I might be going
don't look for curvature. Don't look for spin. Just ask about the philosophy. Don't look at the science.
Private matchmaking, you know. So we did
Trust your scientists, not science. Trust your government. They love you. They would never lie to you. Don't look for curvature. Don't look for spin.
Maybe if they have one, you know, around Indiana or something, you know. That'd be awesome. You know, probably go out there.
Don't look. Look away. Look away.
West Virginia? Okay.
Don't look for curvature. Don't look for spin. You live on the spinning space wall within. Science loves you.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool.
They would never lie about asbestos and cigarettes. The government would never lie about the Gulf of Tonkin. Of course we needed to go to Vietnam. They never lie.
Hey, this is for the guy who's up there, Authentic Intent. He's got a great channel.
Yeah, he's out here doing stuff like this all the not here, but wherever.
Don't look for curvature. Don't look for spin.
He's in Minnesota.
Okay. Yeah, that's the guy you're telling me.
Great channel,
Yeah, that's
the government. They love you,
bro.
Yeah, man. Take care.
Take care, Chris.
I see you, man.
Awesome, man. We've had some great conversations.
Yeah, this has been amazing.
Yeah.
Dude. I can't believe I've never tried this.
This is a perfect spot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Scuba picked out a good one.
Spin. Don't look for vacuum next to air pressure without a barrier. Of course you live on a spinning space ball.
He's gonna go tell him to come over here and check it out now.
Yeah.
I'm getting chilly.
Don't look for curvature. Don't look for spin. Don't look at the information. Stay asleep. Stay asleep. You sleep, they live.
You sleep, they live.
You sleep, they live. Obey your government. Don't question anything. Don't look for curvature. Don't look for spin. Don't look for vacuum next to air pressure without a barrier. Of course you live in outer space on a ball. Don't look at the information. It's too hard. Don't question anything. Trust your government. Your government loves you. Trust your government. They would never lie. Your government loves you. They would never lie. Don't look at the information. Don't look for curvature. Don't look for spin. Don't look for a vacuum next to air pressure without a barrier. Of course they would never lie to you. You live on a space ball. Your government loves you. Oh darn, I thought that sign said free drugs, but it's free hugs. Don't look for curvature. Don't look for
somebody picked that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got a couple people like looking at it like confused. Like
air pressure next to space, of course it's a real thing. Don't look for curvature, don't look for spin. You live on a giant space ball within. Your government loves you, they would never lie. Obey your government. Obey your government because they love you, they would never lie. Stick a needle in my eye. Piece of apple pie. Why oh why, don't make me cry. $3. Don't look for curvature, don't look for spin. They went to outer space. They landed on the moon, but they can't get back because they destroyed the technology and it's too difficult of a process to build it back. Of course we went to the moon. Don't look at it. Don't look. Obey. Obey your government. Obey your oppressor. Taxes are good. They pay for your roads because, you know, we never figure out how to do it by ourselves. Don't look for curvature, don't look for spin, don't look for a vacuum next to air pressure without a barrier. Of course we live on a spinning space ball. Don't look at this evidence. I mean, fake stuff. Government loves you, they would never lie. They love you. Don't question government, they love you. They love you so much. They know you want taxes too, that's why you're raising them. Don't look for curvature, don't look for spin. Of course you live on a spinning space ball with it. Right back down, that's not a tap. I love those things. Terra Esplanada.
Yeah.
Terra Esplanada. Don't look for curvature, don't look for spin, don't look for vacuum next to an air pressure. Of course you live on a spinning space ball. Don't look for curvature, don't look for spin, don't look for air pressure next to a vacuum without a barrier. Of course you live on a spinning space vessel. You live in space. Believe your government. They love you. Your daddy loves you. They don't. Don't look for curvature. Don't look for spin. Of course you live on a spinning space ball within. Don't look for a vacuum next to an air pressure without a barrier. Of course you exist. Don't look for a spinning ball with orange. They told you so. Must be true.
Water is never
Trust your government. Trust your science.
There's no evidence of voltage spinning or the measurable curvature.
The water in your bathtub is always flat on the top.
I'm trying to tell you, as far as society
The water
and
in the lake is always flat on the top.
you seem to want to know the truth, right? The role model itself is proven over and over. It's wrong, it doesn't work, it's demonstrably false.
Don't look for curvature. Don't look for
And planes don't adjust for curvature. It's just the whole idea of the world is just indoctrination and brainwashing. It's still in the
obey your government. They love you. Obey.
Hollywood movies kind of push space propaganda.
They know you want
to believe space exists, like they tell us in movies. All that nonsense. In fact, it's not proven that space can exist. Specifically, vacuuming next to the atmosphere. That's the second law of thermodynamics. You cannot have high pressure, low pressure space.
I bet these people are talking about it. There's the waitress there. She was just over here on her lunch break. Yeah. So the customers are probably asking about what's that noise, and she was telling them. Yeah. So we're like recruiting already.
Don't you see the curve of the sea?
Yeah, that one guy was telling all kinds of people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's like, I'm not here with these guys.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Never question government. Never question government.
I personally believe there's an edge. You always have to be an edge, right?
Don't look for curvature, don't look for spin. We're just on a spinning baseball then.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just like the globe. It's not real.
That makes sense. Planes don't go the opposite direction of the spin, supposedly.
There's a tab you can tuck it in.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, other side. Right there, you see that tab?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a little hook, yeah. Hey man, I got a take home for you. You ever heard about this before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
But I never saw it.
Yeah, you know, there was a conference yesterday. About 200 people showed up to a venue called the Firmament.
Where, here?
Greenville. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So now we're coming out and just sharing information.
Okay. I come from Europe. We don't discuss this.
Oh, you know there's a tour going on in Europe right now called the Globe Lie Tour.
Okay.
Yeah, you should check that out. globelie.co.uk.
Global Lie?
Globe Lie.
Oh,
yeah.
Global Lie,
yeah. Yeah, let me write that down for you. Let me see that. It's on YouTube. They're live streaming every morning on Jason of the Disbury channel on YouTube.
All water finds its level. That river down there proves that water lays flat. Well, the ocean is flat.
Jason of the Disbury family. Sorry, it's a little long-winded, but yeah. Yeah, you'll find a Globe Light Tour. There's all kinds of information online about it. And they're just going around traveling in a camper van. They got a camper van decked out with all kinds of information like this on the side of the van. And they're just going around different city to city. And they were recently, I think, in Bucharest, you know, just going around Europe and telling people, like, doing this, what we're doing right now. And they're live streaming it. So, yeah, it's a lot of great information out there. It's a great study.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So, what have you heard about it? What do you think?
I don't know, something with the ice around the...
Oh, the Antarctica ice wall?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so that's what we think Antarctica really looks like, because of the Antarctic Treaty. Is all these countries back in 1959, they all agreed, you know, they can't agree on anything now, but they agreed on this one thing. No one can go independently explore Antarctica. From the 60th parallel south, you can't go there and check it out for yourself other than going on a tour where they hold your hand and show you penguins. You know, Admiral Byrd was a famous American explorer. He was the youngest Navy admiral in history, and he explored Antarctica for more than 30 years. And he started talking about finding other lands beyond Antarctica, and there's more resources down there. And shortly after that, they closed it off. So he's saying that it's going to get crowded down here because everyone's going to want the resources. And now they're saying, oh, there's nothing there, it's just ice. But we just do some research there, you know, it's good for that, but you can't really go there. Only scientists and military, and it's heavily, like, locked down. Lots of red tape you have to go through just to get there. So, you know, it just makes you wonder, like, why are they going through all the trouble to block that area off? Because we have maps from hundreds of years ago, long before the globe came into existence. Maps like this, the azimuthal equidistant map, just from scientists, you know, making maps of the Earth, of what they think it is. And it's not 100% accurate, we know that, but we feel like it's a lot closer of an idea of where we live than the globe. Because we don't feel any kind of motion, we don't feel it spinning. You know, we see the sun moving across the sky. So why do we believe that we're the ones spinning, you know? So it's like you have to go back to the basics and think about what you're seeing versus what the school is telling you. Because the teachers are just doing their job. They were told by the government curriculum to tell you that you live on a globe. They're not questioning it themselves. So we want to break that cycle and start questioning things that we're told. Because these people have pretty much all the money and all the power in the world, and they're controlling us with this. You know, making us like lower, making us like unimportant, like we're just a speck in an infinite universe and we're nothing. But we're saying that this is pretty much everything there is. Like the stars, everything you see up is in the firmament. There's like a dome above us, and that's what we're seeing when we look up. Just lights in the sky. But they tell you that, oh, we can go there, we can go to different planets and stuff. They're just lights. All we can really tell, we can look at them with a telescope and just see that they're bright. It doesn't really look like they're reflecting sunlight. It looks like they're emanating their own light. And you can tell this with the moon, because the moonlight is actually colder than sunlight. So you'd think that if the moon is just reflecting sunlight, then the moon shining on the ground is pretty bright when it's a full moon. You can tell, you can see a lot. It should be at least neutral or warmer when you're looking in the open moonlight versus the moon's shade. Like if something's blocking the light from the moon, just like in the daytime, you stand in the shade, then you cool off from the hot sun. It's reverse with the moonlight. You stand in the moon, you're colder than when you stand in the shade. And you can take a laser thermometer, one of those point and click thermometers to check temperature. You can check an object in the shade of the moon and then in the direct moonlight. And you can tell the difference, that it's colder in the moonlight. So that tells us that what they're saying about what the moon is and saying that they landed on it, it's just all a lie. And it's assumptions. Like scientists just go off of what they were told, what they were taught to get their degree, to get their job, to get paid, you know, make a living. And they're just repeating it. And it's their foundation. The globe is their foundation for all the science that they do. And yes, we're not saying that all science is just a lie. We're saying that in regards to cosmology and what they're telling us about where we live, like it's all just conjecture. They're just assuming, okay, so if it was a globe Earth, then it would be like this. Here's what the math would look like. like. The math can work out, but you know, it's just an idea. It doesn't have to be real.
So the tangent drops down.
So when you look for curvature, you don't find it.
Okay.
So we're seeing things like this mountain, Mount Canigou in Alouche, France. You can see that more than 160 miles away. With the sun, you know, eclipsing behind it due to perspective, the sun just moves further away from what our eyes can see. It's not going over a curve or anything because there's no curve. We can see the mountain. That's too far away because there should be, there's a formula for the drop of where it drops away. It goes down. So there's a formula right here. It's 8 inches times a mile squared. This is the globe formula for what the drop would be if we lived on a globe. So you can calculate that in observations that you make over long distance. We're seeing way too far. See, at 1 mile, you do 1 mile squared times 8. So that's 8 inches for 1 mile. It's gonna drop below. And so when you have 100 miles, that's over, like,
we wouldn't be able to see.
I know 50 miles by heart. It's 50 miles is about 1,666 feet, a drop of curvature. So when we're seeing Chicago over here, this is 60 miles across. We shouldn't see that. That should be below the curve. But we're actually seeing the city way more than we should. The Willis Tower is only about 1,400 feet high. It should be below the curvature by at least 200 feet. And we see even the smaller buildings down here too. So on the news media, they like to just tell us things and we blindly believe them, but that's not a good idea. We know that the news lies to us. So they tell us that it's a mirage. They say it's the atmosphere reflecting up in the sky above the curve just so you can see it from that angle. But the problem is people see that all the time. And we have this guy named Rob Skiba. He was at the conference yesterday. He took a boat from Michigan all the way towards Chicago, and he took a camera and he filmed that mirage. He was able to see it again, and he just filmed it the whole way across. And you can see that it's the same. It's just getting bigger and bigger. If it's a mirage, then it's going to get faded, and you're not going to see it at some point, and then finally you'll get to the city. And mirages are inverted too. This would be upside down. We know what mirages look like. We can see examples of those. It's not a mirage. And then here, a reflection on a curve, it's going to show a point. And a reflection on a flat plane is a line. And in reality, we see the line, the sun reflecting off of the ocean, of the flat water. Water always lays level. When it's settled down and at rest, it always seeks its level. So that's how we know that, you know, water is kind of like the totem in our reality to figure out that Earth is flat and motionless, because we don't ever see water curving over on a large scale. We don't see it curving.
Oh, it's interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of information, but I mean, it's a great study. It really gives you a new perspective. Oh, please go right ahead.
So the concept of gravity is simply, all it is an explanation of why things fall down. You would say it pulls to the center of the Earth, I would just say it pulls down. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Here, here's my YouTube channel, Critical Inception. So I make videos going out and doing this. And here's my friend, Authentic Intent. He's right over there with the Earth is Flat book. Yeah, he does this in Minnesota. So we all came out here for a conference. We flew or drove like hundreds of miles. I came from Virginia, from around DC. I drove. And we all came for a conference. So that was yesterday. So we got together, about 200 people, and we just, you know, we talk about this. We kind of network and make friends.
Nice.
Yeah.
There is no spin. Okay, so the only
yeah, man. What's your name?
Max.
Max, I'm Alex.
Alex, okay.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Have a good time.
All right, you too.
But if you don't have a spinning ball, you don't need it. Down is down. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, electricity, density, and buoyancy. That's
yep.
all you need.
And he's proven it with a bunch of different tests. It's pretty cool.
Tectonic plates, what's your stance on that then?
Does it need to be a ball for tectonic plates to work?
Yeah, it could just be plates shifting around.
It doesn't change anything.
So when it comes to
doesn't change anything.
Or the mantle.
Okay, so let me look, we've gotten like all the same questions, so he's not laughing at you. We've heard it 1,000 times, okay?
I'm just laughing about
the picture that they show you in your textbook, right? They show you this gobstopper, right? With the white and the yellow and the red, and right? Okay, so do you know what the deepest hole ever drilled is?
I actually don't
Take a
know
guess.
off the top of my head.
Take a guess.
Sure. You know what? Why don't you just tell me the number?
8 miles.
Only 8
out of
miles.
4,000. They have no idea of what's below the surface. They have no idea.
And when they dug this, it was in Russia.
It's called the borehole.
Super deep borehole. They found that what they believed was down there was totally wrong. Just at 8 miles. They thought it was going to get denser and denser and denser. They were finding water over 7 miles down. Big giant pockets of water. So what they tell us, a lot of it was just theory.
Okay.
And then they build a theory on top of the theory, right? If you have a false axiom, you continue to build off that axiom. You don't have to reboot the belief. And there's actually many astrophysicists that say we need to reset. We need to go back and test the beginning axiom. Because, like, for instance, we've established the speed of sound, okay? And the speed of light. Well, there's plenty of scientists that say it's kind of like an average, so to speak, right? Now, we can test this like with planes, you know, you can go a certain speed and hear that boom, right? But when does it reach it? Does it reach it at 730 miles or does it reach it at 729 miles, right? So it's all speculation and it's kind of a range, okay? The speed of light thing, do you know how they tested for the speed of light that they came up with the number in the first place? It was 2 dudes on 2 mountaintops. One of them had a lantern with a card and he went like this. How fast did it take to get to you? Now this guy on the other side didn't have a walkie-talkie. This is way before walkie-talkies. So he's like, okay, ready? And then they're like, oh, that took 0.2 seconds to get to me or whatever.
Is that the one that they still use today, or is that just early experience?
Isn't that crazy? That's what they use today. And they can't even prove it. Like they tried to measure a light node with a, what was it, 1,000 frames per second or something like that. They tried to catch a light node because they figured they could catch it at that speed of light, right? They couldn't get it. They still got a stream, you know, because light is instant. It doesn't take time for light to travel, but it does have a limit. You know, if you see a car driving off in the distance, not only does it shrink with perspective, but the light grows dimmer and dimmer and dimmer until you can't see it anymore, right?
It's going to get weaker.
Yeah, right. And that's well known in science. You know, it's the square, what is it?
Inverse square law.
Inverse square law of light, okay? So for every distance, it halves the light. So, like for instance, the moon, how bright we see the moon, if man really did land on the moon, and we don't believe they did, right? But if they really did, when they tried to take a picture of anything, it would be completely washed out with light because you'd have to increase the light the closer you got to it, right? Because of the reflective light of the sun. It would be completely washed out. They wouldn't be able to take any pictures. The whole moon landing is a complete hoax anyways. If you've ever looked at it, it doesn't take long. I'll show you the first lunar lander. This is crazy. All right, you go to NASA. Don't take my word for it. Don't believe anything these crazy people are saying. Test it for yourself, right? That's what we had to do, right?
Yeah, I didn't believe it when it took me 4 months just to click on my first video.
All right, this is the first lunar module. Looks familiar, right? Maybe? Okay, zoom in on it. You got some carp, some current rods there. You got some tin foil, a little bit of duct tape to repair there, some holes in the gaps in the panels.
Yeah,
how does that make it through the vacuum of space?
It does look a little strange.
Yeah, and the only reason that you've never realized that is because you've never looked. And the same thing went for us. Like, we're like, of course, you know, NASA's real. And once you start going through NASA and you start investigating their images, it's like some wonky stuff going on here.
And they tell us there's all the space junk going around the globe.
Oh, I'll show you the space junk. I'll show you the space junk.
it.
This is the space junk they say that we have.
Yeah.
Bees around the beehive.
Yeah. But look at a real picture.
How do you see stars at night if not our space junk?
Pictures from ISS footage or satellite footage.
You never see satellites.
You don't see anything. You don't see any of that stuff. It doesn't exist. Satellites don't exist, they can tell us. It's nonsense. 99%
They do have high altitude. They do have high altitude.
The satellite specifically means it orbiting in space.
Yeah.
So they have high altitude radio.
UAVs.
Yeah.
All right, check out the, here, you can take my phone. You can zoom in on whichever one you want. But those are all the images of Earth that they've given us. Continents change size, shape, color, distance. Look at 2012, America covers a quarter of the globe.
That's all from NASA.
Those are official photos.
And it's because you never looked. But when you look, you're like, what the crap?
Can you explain like seasonal differences?
Yes.
With the sun?
I got it
Come
right
over
here.
here.
I got it right here. I got the app.
Also, does
Look at
this
this.
belief correlate with religion or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. We have some people that are Muslim, we have some people that are Christian, we have some people that are agnostic. But the fact of the matter is when you realize that this is a stationary plane and that outer space isn't what you think it is, you do come to the realization that there's a creator. But then it's up to you to decide what is that, right? Some people may go toward alien belief, okay? But if you have a ceiling and you have a floor, it's not aliens like from another planet, it's aliens from a different planet.
I got the app, I can show you.
Yes, this is
So, see the red circle? That's where the equator would be. And then the inner circle is Tropic of Cancer, outer is Tropic of Capricorn. So you can see the sun moves around like this, and the light only goes a certain distance based on like reflecting the atmosphere.
It's moving up and down too, like it comes in.
So then look what happens in 3 months. I can jump ahead. You see the sun's now over by Capricorn, and then another 3 months back towards the equator,
equinox,
and it gets closer towards Tropic of Cancer in our summertime.
And you'll see too, like there's no evidence that there's 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of evidence to support a 24-hour sun in the north. You can see it from Iceland.
Does it make sense on this model? It's
you can see
tight
it
and
from Alaska.
closer, yeah.
You know, so it's obvious that it's in the center. You can see it in the summer solstice, but why can't we see that in the winter in the south, right? So it's just another thing, an example to show you that the sun is local and it's not going around a ball, it's just going around the earth.
So this is the Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Flat Earth Clock app.
You can download
yeah, it's on the Google Play.
Actually, we recommend you check it out.
Yeah.
Daily videos.
This is not 100% accurate. It's to give you perspective.
Yeah, the starting point. And it has daily videos for you to check out.
Daily videos and all kinds of information you can look into. Same with those pamphlets. You can look on there. There's YouTube channels in the back and there's websites on the back. They could just go like that.
And this is closer on the globe, by the way. If you look at it on the sphere, this side's pinched down. Right? There you go.
This here and this here. Why would you fly all the way up here and then come all the way back down?
So the flat Earth is
the North Pole's the center.
Yeah,
it's this.
Yes. Flattened out. If you look at this right here.
Yeah.
Have you seen this before?
No, I have not. I thought you were touching it.
You get star trails where it wraps around Polaris. All the star constellations wrap around Polaris, and they do this tilt throughout the year where you see the same constellations every 12 months, right? But if you're on this, okay, first the sun's going through the universe like this, but I don't want to get into that. But let's say you're on this side of the sun, your night sky is always this way, away from the sun, right? When you're on this side, on the other half of, you know, let's say this is our summer, this is our winter. When you're on this side, the sky is this way, and you're looking at a completely different set of stars. You would never see the same constellations, especially with, okay, so the sun's supposedly spinning and wobbling through the galaxy.
I got a picture over here.
And wobbling around the sun. And then the galaxy is supposed to be spinning and wobbling around the Great Attractor. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. All different speeds, all different directions, and we feel nothing.
Yeah, this is what they say that our model, or our Earth, is supposed to be doing around the sun.
Oh,
like
there you
spiraling.
go. Yep, the spiraling, wobbling, weird stuff.
And then here's the sun and the Earth. Earth being on the opposite side in a different season.
I didn't even know this was here. Don't question it.
Yeah, so when you really analyze it, it just starts to break down.
Sorry, what's your name?
I'm Lydia.
Nice to meet you.
Believe science, believe your government. Don't look at this.
I'm from upstate.
Are you first time hearing about this? Or probably Facebook memes and stuff mocking it, right? And isn't that very funny? All you see is disinformation and things mocking it, but how often do you get real interactions? You really see more. When you find truth or honest information, it's completely censored online. You type in flat Earth on YouTube without filtering or looking at specific channels, and then when you get about 10 pages of
Oh, nice, she's got a tablet. That's awesome.
It becomes a full moon. So what if the sun and the moon have some kind of electromagnetic relationship with each other and the North Pole? And they're closer in distance from us sitting here.
Star trails in the flyer?
You know, maybe, I don't know, 20 to 100 miles away instead of 93
Is that the same as they got?
I think
same info on it?
All closer
No?
to
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Hundreds of trillions.
All right, number three. Number three. Nope, not on
No,
this
it's
one.
different.
Okay. Oh, you gotta see star trails. Here,
Yeah, check
this
out this one.
Number three. There's a bigger one over here, though. all stars rotate around Polaris. Polaris never moves. All the constellations keep their circuit around Polaris. Okay, imagine the sun is here. This is our summer, this is our winter. Okay, over here we're looking at these stars. Over here we're looking at these stars. You would never see the same constellations throughout the year. Never. And the sun is doing this through space, allegedly. And then we're doing this around the sun. It's the craziest crap ever. There's 5 speeds, 5 different directions, and then the tilt of 23.4 degrees to get our seasons allegedly.
Which nobody has ever seen with their own eyes, right? So if you look, it's kind of interesting. Look on, like from now on, just, you know, in your mind, whenever you see a image of the Earth, like a cartoon image of it, it's always straight up and down. The only time mainstream will ever tilt the Earth is when they talk about seasons. So, just something double.
These are all the globes that NASA allegedly has fed us over the years. You can go to NASA and download all these globes, okay? Look at 2012. Look at how big America is. It's like covering a quarter of the globe, right? It was obesity. Too much turkey, too much turkey.
Here's a bigger.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Much better.
So this right here.
Yeah,
this
different.
one right here is the famous blue marble.
The weirdest one is the continent shapes and sizes that keep moving. It's weird.
This is the blue marble. This was introduced when that first iPhone came out. And this is, what they do is they scan a flat plane with high altitude airplanes or drones. And then they take all that data. Okay, so let's say green represents number 1 and blue represents number 2, and then they use all the different numbers that they get from the data. They use an artist, okay, literally, they use an artist to then put it in together, and the artist that makes this says, I don't know if this is what the Earth looks like, I'm just an artist and I'm not an astronaut. But this is what they gave us. So it's an artist rendition. And everything about outer space is water.
Here you go. That's the price of a picture. You gotta take a flyer.
What is it?
Information about this.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, really?
I do have a question.
Yeah?
What does it matter?
What does it matter? Okay, well, does truth matter to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this is something that when you really look into it, you kind of get an understanding that like the people in control of this world, like the governments, NASA, like they are putting a lot of time and money into the globe and pushing it on us all the time, like propaganda. When you really look into it, you'll see that. And you gotta wonder, like, why are they doing this to us?
How do they benefit?
Well, there's different theories on that. I mean, NASA gets $58 million a day currently. They're taking tax money from us, and they're giving us propaganda. We can break down all their videos and see that it's just a Hollywood set, that they're giving us all this stuff.
But they're not studying whether the world is round. They're studying rockets and space.
Well, the people at the very top know that it's not a ball. The people below them, it's like compartmentalization. I just build one part for the rocket, I give it to the other guy, and he puts it on the rocket, and they blast off.
Right.
No one knows what the other guy's doing. It's all heavily, you need security clearances, you know, NDAs, all this kind of stuff that compartmentalizes it, and that's how the lie can be contained.
But what does it matter? Like, how you live your life today, whether it's flat or round, how does that make a difference to you?
Well, this changed my life personally.
Yeah, how does it change your life?
Because I realized that everything has pretty much been misdescribed to us, and
so
we've been lied to on a huge scale.
So it's not really whether it's flat or round.
It's about the lie. It's about the lie. Yes.
Okay, so that's NASA and the government.
Yeah. And pretty much all the governments of the world, they're working together. They have the Antarctic Treaty that they all agree that no one can go free explore below 60th parallel south. So that's just something to think about. Since 1958, when they did all these explorations of Antarctica with the, government funding, it looks like they were saying that there's resources down there, like Admiral Byrd mentioned that, and right after that, they just closed it down. You can't go free explore. You can go see penguins on a tour, they hold your hand, but you're not allowed to go deep into the continent, and we think that that would be the edge.
There are stations
of our
on
world.
Antarctica.
There are.
Do you think so?
Of course, yeah. But how far inland do they go? That's the question. Because it's curious that they have 3 different South Poles. They have the magnetic South Pole, the geomagnetic or geostationary, the physical South Pole, and they have different ceremonies at them.
How does this translate politically for you?
It's just about whether you want to know the truth or not.
No, there's a big issue about whether truth or not these days. But I'm saying for you, politically, is there a party that you want to join, a person you want to vote for that is more in line with your thinking?
No, because that's just a false dichotomy that they give to us to keep us fighting each other, and it's like red versus blue. And then in the end, whoever wins, they do what the agenda is. It doesn't matter who wins. It's like 2 heads of the same snake.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So but again, I'm passionate about certain things in my life that matter in that they affect how I live my life. How does this affect how you live your life? You get up in the morning.
Yeah, well, I would hope that the testimony of me being here to explain this information to other people.
May I ask? I'm not being nosy because I really...
Yeah, I'm a mechanic. I fix cars. Yes.
Okay. Does that affect your life at all?
Well, I still have to work a day-to-day job,
right.
You know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you have a family?
I do.
So you have to provide for your family,
yes.
Who your kids go to soccer practice. Your wife may or may not work.
My lab. Yeah. And I have a bandage.
How does this affect you?
It's just about knowing the truth. I mean, it's not something that. So it's like
religion then for you in a way.
No, because it's like getting married. Like you can explain to someone what it's like to get married, but unless they do it, they're not gonna really understand it.
That's true.
So that's kind of what this is. It's like you can hear about flat Earth, but you're not going to really understand it until you look into it.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of information behind it.
Is your wife on board with it then too?
She's not really interested, no.
Okay. She has her other interests, so. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just here to share information and you know.
And I'm just interested in how people spend their time. You know?
And that's fair enough. But I think most people on the outside will look in and see, rather than look at the evidence, they just look, okay, what's the psychology behind why people would believe this? And there's a documentary on that right now that's popular on Netflix. And it kind of looks at the psychology, but they really don't get into the evidence of water always laying level. On a large scale, you don't see it curving or bending, and the horizon is always at your eye level when you go up high altitude. We have videos of 120,000 feet. You can send up a weather balloon with a regular lens camera, and you can see that there's no curvature. And the horizon is at the eye level.
Side of the Earth, then, if everything, China and everybody is on. The Earth is basically on one plane.
Well, you're thinking about a disc floating in space, right?
What?
Are you thinking about a disc floating in space?
Well, I'm asking you if that's what you're
because that's pretty much what they tell us in school. Like, yeah, we used to believe the Earth was flat, but now we're smarter and it's a globe.
So what do you believe?
Well, I don't think space is real. Because we can tear apart NASA and the propaganda that they give us. You can't have a high pressure system next to a low pressure system without a barrier. They're going to equalize.
There's no moon?
We see a moon. We don't know what it is. We've never been there.
That's false too.
There
was no rocket.
No moon landing. Yeah. Even the head of NASA, Wernher von Braun, back in the 1950s, stated that they would need a rocket the size of the Empire State Building just to get to the moon. The one that they supposedly went on was less than half the size. So when you look at, when people lie, you can kind of analyze the lies and you can see discrepancies in what they're saying and what they're doing. You can just tear it apart.
Space then is fake.
That's just Hollywood stuff, like ISS.
No, but how about stars and whatnot?
Yeah, there's stars. There are lights in the sky. So it kind of
manufactured.
Well, it kind of tells you that this place was created, and with the globe, they want to say we came from a Big Bang and evolution. So.
May I ask what your faith background is, or is?
Well, I believe the Bible is true.
So do I.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how we ended up here.
Yeah, well, if you look in the verses, I have information about the Bible here.
I will take that just
Yeah,
for
there
fun.
are verses that say that Earth is stationary, not moving, set on foundations with a firmament above us. So rather than a vacuum of space, it's a firmament, like a dome. And the stars and the lights in the sky, the sun and the moon are fixed inside the firmament. So I would encourage looking at even different translations of the Bible, just whatever verses you come across related to this, and just try to understand it a little bit better. And you'll see that, you know, you can't get a spinning ball out of the Bible. It's impossible.
It does talk about a sphere in the Bible.
No, it talks about a circle of the earth in Isaiah.
I'm sorry?
It talks about a circle of the earth in Isaiah. He sitteth upon the circle of the earth. I mean, that's a circle right there. And it's all flat. All the continents are right here, with Antarctica going around the outside.
What's on the other side of our sphere, or of our, I mean, it's
So-
got to be a plane, like a plate, right?
Yeah, it could go on infinitely for all we know. Infinitely out horizontal or infinitely downwards. We don't know. We don't have the resources to really explore that. So that would be just conjecture.
Because if you keep going this way, you're going to land back in Greenville.
Not necessarily. You would go to Antarctica, because the North Pole is in the center of the Earth.
Okay.
And we know that the compass points north, and if we travel by compass, that's going to navigate us in a circle around. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So we think that we're going in a straight line, but we have to constantly correct a little bit north. If we're heading east and we want to end up back in the same spot, we're going to be constantly just slightly correcting north.
What if we could take off in a plane from Greenville, go across the North Pole, keep going? Wouldn't we get to the end of things?
That would be where we think Antarctica is.
And then if we kept going?
And then no one knows what's beyond that. The government, like I said, the 60th South parallel, the governments have all agreed that no one can go explore. You have to go through a lot of red tape, pay like $2 million for a permit or an application just to see if you're allowed to go there. And there's so many, if you look into the Antarctic Treaty, just look at it, you know, it's online, it's a real thing, you know, I'm not making it up.
All right, I'll check you out.
It's just, you know, there's a lot of information about this, and I could talk all day, but I mean...
Interesting.
You know.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have
Take
a
care.
good day.
Post it on Facebook. Say, hey, these guys believe you're...
It'll be down here around the outside edge.
Government loves you. They would never lie. Of course. You hire them to be your master.
So interesting. Like, never thought about.
You want to see how the sunlight works?
Yes.
Okay, so this would be the dome above the earth,
Yeah.
and the light would reflect around like this as the sun moves.
Wow.
So this glass has a similar refractive index as the air in our atmosphere, because we know there's water in the air.
Oh yeah.
So it kind of bends light. So this is how the light would be moving around, and we have day and night.
That's crazy.
And then with a compass to circumnavigate, North Pole's in the center, so the compasses always point north. So when we navigate, if we're gonna circumnavigate the Earth, we go to the east, and we're always constantly correcting a little bit north, going in a circle around a flat plane. Get back to where you started.
Wow.
So nobody has ever circumnavigated north to south and come around the other side.
No.
You hit Antarctica, and you're not allowed to go there.
Yep.
They would never lie. Beep, boop, beep, beep, obey. Obey your government, don't look at the
I think we got so much information.
How dare you question authority?
Listen, I have never questioned any of this stuff that we learned in school. Like,
And that's what makes it so bad.
right? Like, holy
The first time I
How
heard
dare you
about this
question?
is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah,
I'm
like-
gonna go debunk this today,
Yeah.
and this is what did it for me. I lived right by Lake Michigan
Yeah.
from Indiana, and all these buildings,
Don't question anything, trust
you
your
shouldn't see any
government.
of them. They should be,
You
this
send
line
them
right
your
here
taxes, and that is what you
should be up
spend.
here, according to the curvature of the earth.
They're only
It
there
should
to
be
control
behind
you,
the
so
horizon. You
please
shouldn't see any of those
listen
buildings,
and obey.
and you can see all of them.
And if you don't, you will surely pay.
I know it sounds crazy. No. The only thing you learn is when you were this big, that there were some crazy people back in the day that believed the earth is flat, and they've been proven wrong a long time ago, and they're all nuts. There were goat herders and this and that. But back in 1856, there were scientists writing books. Samuel L. Robotham, all about the earth not being a ball, being flat. There were people marching in the streets in 1910 in this country, holding up signs saying the earth is flat. In Russia in 1901, it was illegal to teach that the earth was flat.
Really?
Yeah. So this isn't as old as they tell us it is.
No.
This has been a topic that's been going on for quite some time. And not until NASA came out in 1958 did they say, oh, we have a picture that we're going to go up there and take and prove all these people wrong. But 50 years later, we've never been able to.
Oh, I will definitely be researching more into this because this is definitely not what we learned in school.
No, and I was taught the same things you were.
Yeah, like in my physics class, we're still learning that the Earth is a globe and it like spins around and jazz.
Question your teachers. They're not going to have answers. They're just repeating what they were taught.
Yeah, Dr. Maxwell.
Yeah, I had a physics teacher. I thought he was crazy in school.
I know, I for sure like, Dr. Maxwell, you need to be reading.
He told us that we could get an A in the class without doing any work if we could prove the Earth curved and moved. That's all we had to do with our own observations. We could prove it. And we would get an A in the class, no questions asked. It was never done in the 32 years he taught.
Wow.
No, it's
So there's been there's the whole time. I didn't realize he was a flat earther until I started hearing. I was like, oh my God, my teacher was trying to point this out to me. No, I didn't even cross my mind. Or if you go watch TV now, look in the back. Don't watch the people and what they're saying. You'll find a globe on every TV show that you watch. There will be a globe in the background. Every cartoon, every movie, every TV show. It's crazy.
Defend gravity is not a theory.
Yeah.
Please, gravity.
Subliminally programming you to always see that globe.
Can I get a
So when someone
scientific
points this
experiment where
out to
you
you,
take
you're like,
gravity
you're
out of the
insane.
equation so we can tell that gravity is what makes things move?
Yeah. Well, this is definitely something I'm going to be looking into.
Yeah, thank you. You ladies have a wonderful
Thank you for
day.
educating us.
My pleasure.
Someone had a heart attack from being a fan of the flag.
Okay, so how do you know that that's where you live if you haven't seen it from outer space?
I mean, I haven't personally, but...
Okay, so if I give you a unicorn, if I give you a unicorn and I gave you a mathematical equation that this unicorn exists, would you believe it?
Sure, yeah.
You would believe, come on, man.